Stop worrying, that's when life starts working. Worry is a weight you choose to carry. Imagine walking on a path with a bag on your back. The path itself may already be steep, full of stones and obstacles. That is the natural challenge of life. But then you decide to put into that bag rocks that don't belong to you. Thoughts of what might happen, regrets of what already passed, fears that are only shadows in your mind. With every step, the bag becomes heavier, and soon you begin to believe the path is impossible. Yet the truth is not the path that makes you collapse, it is the weight you decided to carry. Worry is a mental stone. It has no shape in reality, yet it exhausts you more than real burdens. It keeps you awake at night and steals your energy during the day. When you wake in the morning, you may already feel tired, not because of what you must face, but because your thoughts have already fought battles that do not exist. The body is strong, but the mind, when loaded with worry, weakens even the strongest spirit. Life does not demand that you carry these stones. Life only asks you to walk. Every obstacle on the path is already a lesson, already a training. But worry is like trying to lift the obstacle before you even reach it. It is like paying a debt that you do not owe. If you let go of the bag, suddenly the same road feels lighter. You begin to see that the challenge is not as big as you imagined, that your energy is enough, and that you are capable of more than you thought. Would you like me to expand each keynote like this one into individual 300-word reflections so you'll have a complete 6-part extended speech? Action replaces anxiety. When the mind is consumed by worry, it circles endlessly around the same thought. It creates scenarios, imagines outcomes, and rehearses fears. But none of these mental movements bring relief. They only deepen the feeling of helplessness. The moment you stand up and move, the cycle begins to break. Action is the medicine for anxiety, because movement transforms energy that is stuck into energy that flows. Think of a person lost in a dark room. If they sit still and imagine what dangers may be hidden in the shadows, their fear grows larger and larger. But if they take a step, if they stretch their hand to find the wall, if they move toward a window, something changes. Every action, no matter how small, reduces uncertainty. The room does not become brighter through thinking, but through doing. When you act, you give the mind proof. Worry whispers, you cannot. Action responds, I just did. Worry says, it's too difficult. Action replies, it has already begun. In this way, each step forward silences the voice of doubt. Action is not about completing the whole journey at once. It is about breaking the paralysis that anxiety creates. Even the smallest action carries power. Writing down a plan, making a single phone call, starting with one breath of focus. These are seeds. Once planted, they grow into momentum, and momentum grows into transformation. Anxiety cannot survive where momentum exists. Just as darkness cannot remain when a candle is lit, worry cannot dominate when you are in motion. Would you like me to move on and expand the third keynote the same way in 300 words? Clarity comes in stillness. The worried mind is like water that has been stirred. Mud rising, ripples spreading, no reflection visible. In such a state, even if the answer is right before you, you cannot see it. Worry is movement without direction, noise without harmony. It makes every problem look bigger, every path more confusing, every choice heavier than it really is. But when the mind becomes still, the water settles, the mud sinks, and suddenly the reflection appears. Clarity was never gone, it was only hidden. Many people believe that by thinking harder, by analyzing endlessly, they will discover the solution. But often, the more the mind is forced, the further away the answer seems to be. Wisdom does not arise from tension, it arises from spaciousness. In stillness, your perception sharpens. What felt like a maze begins to show its exits. What seemed like chaos begins to reveal patterns. Stillness does not mean inaction. It is not laziness nor escape. It is the conscious pause where you return to balance before moving forward. Just as an archer must steady the hand before releasing the arrow, you must steady the mind before making decisions. Only then will your actions hit their mark. You can create stillness in simple ways. One deep breath taken with full awareness, a moment of silence before responding, a walk without distraction, letting the noise of thoughts settle naturally. These moments of stillness are like clearing the dust from a mirror. You begin to see not only the world more clearly, but also yourself. Shall I continue and expand the fourth keynote in the same style with 300 words? Trust the flow of life. A river does not argue with the stones in its path. It simply flows around them. A tree does not resist the changing seasons. It bends, it adapts, it waits, and it grows again. Yet we humans, instead of flowing with life, often choose to stand still in resistance. We believe that worry will protect us, that by tightening our grip we can force life to obey our plans. But life is larger than our control, and worry is only a rope that ties us to fear. When you trust the flow, you begin to see that what once felt like an obstacle can become a turning point. The detour may lead to a place more beautiful than the road you thought you needed. What appeared as loss may be the clearing that makes space for something greater to arrive. Just as the river eventually reaches the ocean, life too has a way of carrying you where you are meant to go, if only you allow it. Trust does not mean being passive. The river moves with force, the tree grows with effort. Trust is the courage to act without being enslaved by fear. It is the choice to plant seeds without demanding that they grow overnight. It is the patience to know that seasons of struggle are not permanent, and that every winter eventually turns into spring. When you release the need to control every detail, your energy shifts. You stop exhausting yourself by fighting what is beyond your hands, and you begin to invest in what is within your reach. Life starts to work with you, not against you. And in that cooperation, possibilities emerge that worry could never imagine. Would you like me to expand the fifth keynote now in the same 300-word meditative style? Present is power. Worry is always about time. It drags your mind into the past or it pulls you into the future. You revisit what cannot be changed, or you imagine what has not yet come. In both cases, your energy is absent from the only place it can truly act, the present moment. The power to transform your life does not live in yesterday or tomorrow. It lives here, in this breath, in this step, in this choice. Think of a candle flame. If you place it in the wind of the past, it flickers with regret. If you place it in the storm of the future, it shakes with fear. But in the still air of the present, it burns steady and bright. Your attention works the same way. Scattered in time, it is weak. Anchored in the present, it is strength itself. When you are fully present, even ordinary moments become extraordinary. Drinking a glass of water, you taste life itself. Walking down a street, you notice details that worry had hidden from you. Listening to another person, you hear not only words but the heart behind them. In this state, problems shrink and clarity grows, because you are not blinded by illusions of what was or what may be. The present moment also frees you from the weight of what if. In the now, you deal with reality as it is, not as your fear paints it. You discover that most worries dissolve when faced directly, like shadows disappearing under light. By grounding yourself in the present, you reclaim your power from time. The past loses its grip, the future loses its threat, and what remains is the space where true life unfolds. Shall I move on and expand the sixth keynote in the same flow of 300 words? Life responds to courage, not fear. Worry is fear rehearsed in the mind. It paints pictures of failure, of loss, of disappointment, and convinces you that these images are reality. But they are only shadows, illusions that paralyze your steps before you even begin. Fear waits for you to retreat, while courage waits for you to advance. The moment you choose courage, even if your hands shake and your heart races, life begins to shift in your favor. Think of a locked door. Worry stands before it, imagining what dangers may be on the other side, and so you never turn the handle. Courage, on the other hand, says, "Let's see." When you push, you often discover the door was never locked at all. It was your fear that kept you standing still. Life does not open for hesitation. It opens for those willing to knock, to push, to walk through. Courage does not mean you are fearless. It means you act despite the fear. You take the step with trembling legs, but the step is taken. You speak the truth with a voice that quivers, but the truth is spoken. Each time you act in courage, life meets you with opportunities that fear would have kept hidden. Worry will always try to protect you, but its protection is a cage. It keeps you safe, but it keeps you small. Courage is the key that unlocks that cage. It does not promise certainty, but it promises growth. And growth is the language of life. When you move with courage, you align with that language, and life begins to answer you with strength, with support, and with doors that only open for the brave.